Welcome to Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm Jonathan Friedman, joined by Mark Z. Mark, how are you today?
Very well. Great to be with you, John.
And we are on location today and have a wonderful show coming for you. We're on the record at the offices of
O'Brien and Levine.
And our first guests in the studio today are from the firm of Murtha Kalina. And we have Rachel Faye Smith and Monica Snyder. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. We're going to have to correct you starting right off the bat. It's Murtha Kalina.
Kalina. I already made a mistake. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's what you get for being a layperson versus being a lawyer, right, John?
I'll leave that to you.
Rachel and Monica, thank you for coming. Rachel, do you want to tell us about your practice and how you've developed it downtown?
I would love to. There's nothing I love more than talking about my practice. So this introduction, this invitation was welcome. I am an employee benefits and executive compensation lawyer. It is what I would call a very specialized area, a niche practice. I work in the area of ERISA, the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, and handle all manner of questions about employee benefits, anything from your 401k plans, your pension plans, your health and welfare arrangements, Affordable Care Act questions. And then on the executive compensation side, I work regularly with both companies and with executives individually in negotiating employment agreements, severance agreements, bonus agreements, change of control, everything that you want to put together as a package to attract and retain the very best talent. That crosses over into equity compensation as well. So your stock option plans, your stock-based performance awards. Think of it as kind of a holistic practice that touches on everything to do with the compensation and benefits you give to your employees.
What's special about your specialized practice is that the timing, as the economy gets better,
Yes.
Packages, especially with startups,
Yes.
and retaining employees where during the recession you didn't have to worry, and now retention and the
Yes.
movement seems to be very, very strong.
You're 100% correct. For years I worked largely representing large acquisitory companies in the M&A space, in the mergers and acquisitions space, but as an ERISA specialist and an executive compensation specialist, helping companies that were going in and buying your successful startups, the companies that had done a good job of marketing and putting their business platform together. And I would see time and time and time again the executive compensation issues that come out in an acquisition setting where companies, your small businesses haven't had the interest or the knowledge or the money, frankly, to set up a good executive comp package at the time that they're getting their founders in on the ground, and that creating a host of problems when the company is bought at the end. On the flip side, now that the market is really starting to pick up again, retention has become a big issue, especially in Boston, where we have a very robust and successful startup community. We've got a lot of people here who know their business and either in their specific industry or as your CFOs for hire or your CEOs for hire, who are very successful at turning these companies, but also are savvy in knowing what they should be paid and what they're worth.
Right.
And it pays to have a good executive comp lawyer on your team so that you can get your market comp. One of the issues that you can come across as a small business is figuring out who is supposed to be in your employee benefit plan and who isn't. If you have a 401k plan that permits all employees after a certain level to defer money to save for retirement, and you've messed up again who is an employee and who isn't, you can create some problems for yourself. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure thing. So as Rachel just said, I'm a litigation associate at Murtha with an increasing focus in employment law. And the issue of employer misclassification is something that arises pretty frequently, and it's something that employers need to be aware of. Misclassification impacts wage and hour issues. For instance, overtime and rest break laws and other wage and hour laws don't apply to independent contractors. It also impacts tax and withholding obligations. So employees should be receiving W-2s and independent contractors 1099s. And W-2s have withholding obligations that 1099s don't. So employers need to be aware of how they're classifying their workers to avoid receiving a penalty from the IRS for failing to withhold. And also, it impacts a worker's ability to receive certain benefits, insurance, unemployment compensation, and workers' compensation.